And here it goes. Ooh, looking good. I'll place it on my board and I'll do a slice of the slice. Ciao, I will be really honest with you. I'm not sure what to call this. I made a vegetarian version of it earlier in the week, and it was delicious. So today I decided to make one with sausages and vegetables. Maybe the best way to define it is a mixture between a focaccia and a pie, something baked in the oven, and it's really, really nice.
It was delicious, so whatever it is lovely.
I just finished peeling a large potato. I'm using a cheese grater. I'm using the large teeth side to grate it. Of course, as you get towards the end, be careful with your fingers. Very easy to chop them off. This is another one of Julie's courgette from the plant that keep on giving.
Yeah, there's one more nearly ready as well.
We've had about 8 or 9 and they are really, really nice. So I'm going to do exactly the same I did with the potato while the grater is still dirty with potato with the courgette.
Skin too.
Skin too, absolutely. Of course, this is a round courgette, but you can use a normal size courgette or any type of courgette. They all taste very, very similar. Courgette is a little bit easier because I can get hold of the little knobbly bit at the end and use as a way to get hold of it, and the job is done. And I can now remove the courgette, and there they are. I've got a pasta drainer, but you can also use a sieve, whatever you might have handy. And I've got a little bowl here, and position it on top of the bowl. And I'll pick my grated potato and courgette and plonk them in. Little salt on top.
And look, you can see the liquid coming out already, just on its own. It hasn't done anything yet.
Yes, but the salt will help as well. So I'll leave it in there for 10 minutes, and then you will see there'll be quite a lot of water that will come out. In the meantime, I'll get on with something else. I'm slicing an aubergine, and I'm doing it in 1 centimeter or thereabout slices. You can use any vegetables you like. The other day I used a combination of mushrooms, peppers and spinach, and I think some peas as well. Today I will be using some spinach and some mushrooms, but also aubergine, mostly because I will be using sausages, and they might be really nice with sausages. Little olive oil, and as I often do with my aubergines, I will put them inside. Tiny little amount of salt so that helps sweat in the water. I'll place them on the hob. I start them on high, the maximum. As soon as they start sizzling, I'll place the lid on. I'll turn them down onto number 6 or medium if you were to use a gas hob, and I will leave them. In about 5 minutes I'll turn them around, and they will be ready in about 10 minutes. Sausages next. I will be using a couple of large sausages. These are flavored with fennel and chili, and they are really, really delicious. I think I might have said this before.
These are our favourites.
Some of our favourites. I'm going to shallow fry these, so I will just cut them in half first, and I will place them inside a different frying pan. I'm not going to use any oil, as sausages release quite a lot of fat anyway. And just like I did with the aubergines, I'll start them on high, and then I'll turn them down, number 5 for them, and I'll let them to cook. The reason why I sliced them in half, by the way, is just merely because they'll cook faster. Aubergines most probably are done and they can be turned over. Yep, you can see that they've got a lovely golden color and they start becoming translucent. So I'll just turn them around. Lid goes back on and I will leave them for a few more minutes. I mentioned mushrooms, so I will use 6 large mushrooms. They weigh approximately a couple of 100 grams. And I'm slicing them. I'm doing also them quite thinly so that they cook quite fast. This is Scamorza. It's a wonderful Italian cheese. It's a bit smoky and it tastes wonderful. I always buy when I find it in supermarkets. Not always easy to get hold of in this country, but if you cannot get hold of Scamorza, you can buy any cheese. Cheddar will be fine, or even mozzarella, as long as it's nice and stringy and it melts lovely, because clearly you want your whatever it's called that I'm making, focaccia, let's call it focaccia, to be lovely and stringy. And I'll get a few slices ready for when I need it later. Julie's try some. What do you think, Julie?
Well, the texture is very much like pizza. You know when you buy pizza mozzarella in the big block? That's what it reminds me of. But the flavour is lovely. It's nice and smoky.
So the sausages are done, and I'll put them on a plate to cool down. There is some fat in there already from the sausages, but I'll add a tiny little amount of olive oil. And I will use the same pan to do the mushrooms. And off they go on the hob. Likewise, my aubergines are done as well, so I will place them next to the sausages to cool down a little. This is spinach, yes, you might have guessed it, from Julie's garden. Clove of garlic, good old crush. Pan where I cook the aubergine, again a little oil, garlic goes in, followed by the spinach. And I'll put it on the hob just like I did the aubergines. Once it starts sizzling, I'll put the lid on, and they will only take about 3 to 4 minutes to cook. Back to my courgette and my potatoes. I'm going to now push it down and squeeze as much water out as possible. And look, this is all of the water which has come out. New bowl, in they go.
So elegantly done.
Now imagine you're making Yorkshire puddings. I'll start with the flour first. And having made this already, I know that I'm going to need 4 dessert spoons of flour. I'm now adding 4 eggs to my flour. This is number 4. And a tiny little splodge of milk. And just like if you were making Yorkshire pudding, whisk.
Or batter of some description.
Or batter of some description, and whisk away. And that is wonderful. Seeds. These are a mixture of seeds which we tend to use for breakfast, and is a blend of sunflower seeds and also pumpkins and other stuff. But any of those will do. And I just use one heaped dessert spoon and add it to my mix. Actually, I'll tell you what, I'll put 1.5. One final mix, and I'm now adding it to my mix of potatoes and courgette. And instead of using a whisk, I'll use actually a wooden spoon to mix it, as I find it considerably easier. I will add a little pepper first, and this is perfect. I'm looking for a lovely little sloppy mixture which will fill my tin in a moment, but also will grow lovely when it goes in the oven. My sausages have cooled down and they're safe to touch, so I'm now chopping them into little pieces. Likewise, the mushrooms are also done, so I will put them next to the sausages. And here is the spinach, also ready, and I'll plonk it in there. So all of my fillings are together, garlic included. Baking paper. For convenience, I'm going to be using a baking tin, but you can use any dish you like, really. This is useful because it's got a clip, and at the end it will be easier to remove it. And you do not need to be too elegant either, just put your baking paper inside. And I will pour just under half of my mixture inside it. And again, using my wooden spoon, I'm spreading it evenly across the base. And I'm ready to start filling my focaccia. So here is my aubergine, and I'm just chopping into manageable pieces. And I'll put half of it at the very, very bottom, making sure that I leave a good inch away from the outside edge. All of my sausages go in next. Again, I'm building a little mountain in the middle, followed by a generous amount of cheese. Very important that you put plenty of cheese, as this will be lovely and stringy later. And as I put ingredients in my mixture, I'll push it down with my hands. Mushrooms. I'm going to give the spinach a good old squeeze because there is still a lot of water there, and I don't want too much water in here, so I will use my hands to do that. And I'll plonk them on top. And I'll finish the way I started with a little bit more aubergine.
Guess what's next, everybody? Would you like this, dear?
Thank you. And yes, next is the rest of my mix. And as I used less than half for the bottom, this should be enough to cover the entire surface. I'm going along and gently spreading it so that I cover all of the surface, including the edges. And it's ready to go in the oven. I'll put it in for half an hour, temperature of 180 degrees, and I'll check and I'll let you know if it needs more or less, but likely to be a little bit more. So it's been baking for 45 minutes, and let's take a look. Just like you do the cake, I'm going to do a little test. It's all clear. That means also it's ready. So out it comes, and there it is. And there is a lovely round dome with a brown crust. Like a lot of stuff I do in the oven, I'll leave it to rest now for a good 10 minutes, and then we will take a good look. See you then. And I'm ready.
My tummy is ready, definitely.
And I'm now ready to cut a nice little slice. I did wait 10 minutes, but most probably could do with 15. But I don't think Julie's gonna wait 15 minutes.
It's too late now.
It's still a little bit hot, but I'm very, very keen to show you what it looks like on the inside. Of course, this tomorrow will be even better because I will have set for 24 hours, and the longer you leave it, the better. And here it goes. Ooh, looking good. I'll place it on my board, and I'll do a slice of the slice. Still a bit hot, so I'm going to use a fork. Oh, the smell is really good. It's a bit too big though, isn't it?
It is a bit.
Never mind. Hot but lovely. The vegetarian one was really nice, but the sausages are giving an extra kick. Also, you can make this with smoked salmon, by the way, or anything you
yes,
like, any filling you like. Clearly, the more diverse the fillings, the better the flavor sometimes. But it's really good. I'm very pleased, and we will have this also called tomorrow. Will be even better. Thank you. Ciao, ciao. Hopefully, she make you enjoy. See you later. Thanks.